may have at one point imagined a utopian society, one where everyone has a steady income, works productively, there are steady advancements in society, no violence, no matter how far-fetched the concept may seem. However, not to ruin any of your dreams or anything, but today I'm going to be discussing precisely why humanity should not strive for a utopian society. Let's start off with a survey. How many of you have ever looked up to someone and have admired certain qualities about them, and have ever wondered, wow, what if I had those certain favorable qualities? Just a show of hands. Okay, so a large number of you. What does this say about society? Well, it says that people are always looking to conform to a standard, and they're always looking to conform to modern trends. Particularly teens and adults who look to live up to societal standards and to prove themselves to society. Many of these modern trends are exposed to them through social media and through the school and the workplace. But what if I told you that it would be possible for you to obtain these traits that you admire in perhaps another person? What if I told you that this was possible through the use of genetic engineering? Over the summer, I attended a genetic engineering program called biotechnology, where I had the opportunity to work with a gene editing system known as CRISPR-Cas9, which stands for Clustered Regularly Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats. Quite a mouthful, I know. So I designed the CRISPR system to repress a gene associated with ALS, which is a commonly known neurodegenerative disease. By repressing this gene, I hope to prevent the symptoms of ALS from arising. During my time at biotech, I learned a lot about how genetic engineering works. One way it can be done is by isolating the gene of interest, reproducing it in cells and tissues, and then having the cells develop into an organism that then contains the gene of interest. Another way it can be done is by using CRISPR, as I did, where a guide RNA guides the CRISPR system down to the target site in the DNA, where CRISPR will then carry out its assigned function and make a direct edit into the DNA sequence. But I know what you're thinking. Let's not turn this into an AP biology lesson. Let's get into what genetic engineering is used for. Currently, genetic engineering is used for screening to determine genetic predisposition to disease, for xenotransplantation, or transplanting animal organs into humans, and for creating GMOs, or genetically modified organisms. Genetic engineering could potentially be used to create clones for the treatment of disease, and in creating designer babies, which allow people to customize the genetic sequence of their offspring and thereby determine their personality as well as their physical appearance. It is these potential uses of genetic engineering that lend themselves to a wide variety of concerns, including health concerns, which are mainly centered around GMOs. GMOs allow for foreign DNA, viral and bacterial vectors, viral promoters, and antibiotic marker systems to be engineered into foods, and this may lead to toxicity, allergic reactions, and cancer. GMOs may also lead to environmental concerns, as pesticides and herbicides are often applied to GMOs, and this may negatively harm organisms such as bees and butterflies that come to pollinate these plants. It is also said that GMOs may become invasive species and disrupt natural and delicate ecosystems. Xenotransplantation, which, as I remind you, is the transplantation of organs or genetic materials from animals into humans, may raise religious concerns, as it may require the extraction of tissues and organs from animals such as pigs and cows, which may be controversial to Jews and Muslims who cannot eat pork, and Hindus who consider the cow to be divine. Finally, the debate over ethics arises around designer babies. Many people argue that people should not have the ability to meddle in the natural selection of genes and in determining the personality of their offspring. But let's just say that designer babies do become a thing. Just imagine everyone around you having all the good and desirable genes. This can be seen in a positive light, as with favorable genes, people are likely to be smarter and have greater productive capacities. This can be seen as beneficial for businesses, as workers would be able to work more productively and efficiently. And with similar genes, we'll all be able to get along. Truly sounds like a utopia, doesn't it? Upon closer examination, we see that with more skilled and productive people are likely to aim for higher level jobs that generate higher incomes, leaving lower level jobs vacant. Also, with only some people able to own genetic engineering technology, socioeconomic divisions will inevitably emerge between those that can afford to use the technology and have had some degree of genetic modification done to themselves, and those that cannot afford to use the technology and still have their natural genes intact. So what do these socioeconomic divisions say about society? Well, it shows that people are always looking to conform to a trend and to fit in with everyone else. And those that cannot keep up with the trend or the societal standard are immediately demoted to the lower level of society. What does this say about genetic engineering technology itself? Well, it says that genetic engineering is really just a symptom of the trend to want to belong. And that genetic engineering really just belongs in the same category as plastic surgery and makeup. Other effects of selecting genes include redesigning humans to have the worst possible attributes, such as vanity, greed, and savagery. This would be because with favorable genes, humans may become brainwashed, power-hungry, and greedy for even more of an advantage over other people. And they will continuously strive to achieve greater perfection. They may go to extreme lengths to achieve this perfection. Other effects would include destabilizing human biological function and identity, altering human nature, meddling in our own evolution, and magnifying existing inequalities. So upon even closer examination, we see that these socioeconomic divisions are actually only temporary. Eventually, genetic engineering technology will trickle down and become available to all levels of society. When this is achieved, the state of equality will be reached. And with everyone now choosing the same similar desirable genes, the challenge of embracing diversity will be eliminated, as diversity will no longer exist. So think about what type of utopia this would mean to you. Yes, there would be a state of equality due to greater similarities between people, but is the world ready for a society that lacks differences, divisions, and diversity? This type of society has several limitations. First of all, this type of society would take a long time to achieve. Second of all, if this type of society is ever achieved, a lack of genetic diversity is biologically unhealthy. It could take as little as one external factor, such as disease, to wipe out the entire human population. So, do we really want to be able to use genetic engineering for the sake of conforming to societal standards and risk creating even more divisions within society? Even if those divisions are only temporary. But once those divisions disappear, a biologically unhealthy society in its place? And even though there would be a state of equality, do we really want to live in a utopia where everyone has the same genes? I'd like you all to close your eyes for a moment. Think about your weaknesses. Are you not particularly good at a certain sport? Or perhaps a certain subject? Now think about your strengths. Are you particularly good at another sport or subject? Or do you have great social skills that enable you to befriend anyone that you meet? Okay, you can open your eyes now. Surely, some of the strengths that you thought of are those that are unique to yourself, talents that no one else in the room possesses. Now look around the room. We have a very diverse group in here, filled with people from all over the world and talents of all different kinds. We should embrace these differences, embrace diversity, uniqueness, and individualism. We should let go of our judgmental mindsets. After all, it is those genes that we originally saw as limiting, or our natural genes, that enable us to expand on our own interests and talents, which give us an advantage over other people. Because after all, I know we all need to be recognized and commended for doing something better than everyone else. Humans do have a natural desire to be perfect, and this can be achieved through genetic engineering, but humans also have an innate desire to be competitive, and this can only be achieved by embracing our unique genes. In conclusion, the best type of utopia can be achieved by embracing individualism and not worrying about fitting into what society dictates. Thank you.